The 2024 NFL season is over, but for the Falcons, the real work is just beginning. Big decisions are coming, and with a tight salary cap, every move matters. If you want to stay updated on everything Falcons, don't forget to hit that like button. Now let's dive in. The Falcons have 22 free agents this offseason, and we're going to break them down. Who should stay and who should go? Drew Dalman, center. A strong offensive line is key, and Drew Dalman has been a big part of Atlanta's front. He started all 40 games he's played over the past 3 seasons and would be a great asset for a young quarterback like Michael Penix Jr. The problem? Dalman is expected to have plenty of offers in free agency, and the Falcons might not be able to afford him. But if they can bring him back at a fair price, they absolutely should. Matthew Judon, edge rusher. Last offseason, the Falcons traded for Matthew Judon, hoping he'd boost their pass rush. While 4 sacks in 7 games isn't bad, Atlanta still finished near the bottom of the league in sacks. Now with Judon hitting free agency, it seems likely the team will move on and look for help elsewhere. Justin Simmons, safety veteran safety. Justin Simmons was solid in 2024. Starting all 16 games and grabbing 2 interceptions. But at 1 year old, he's likely looking for one last big contract. With younger options available, the Falcons may decide to let him go and invest in the future.
Mike Hughes, cornerback. On defense, Mike Hughes played an important role alongside A.J. Terrell and held his own at cornerback. His future with the team remains uncertain, but he was a valuable piece in the secondary. This offseason will be crucial for Atlanta. With key players hitting the market, the front office has tough choices to make. Stay tuned as we break it all down.
With new defensive coordinator Jeff Ulbrich bringing in a different system, Mike Hughes' fit in Atlanta is uncertain. If the price is right, the Falcons could keep him, but don't expect them to overpay. Richie Grant, safety one player who likely won't be back, is Richie Grant. He's been with the Falcons for a few years, but with bigger needs on defense and limited cap space, Atlanta might let him test the market before considering a reunion. Lorenzo Carter, edge rusher. Lorenzo Carter is another familiar name, but his lack of impact in passing situations makes him replaceable. The Falcons need more from their edge rushers, and it's time to look for better options. Kaderil Hodge, special teams. WR, on special teams, Kaderil Hodge had a fantastic year, even earning a Pro Bowl selection. He also made key plays on offense, including a clutch 45-yard touchdown against Tampa Bay. Atlanta needs more playmakers like him, so re-signing Hodge should be a priority. Taquon Graham, defensive tackle. Taquon Graham showed promise before his 2022 knee injury, but he hasn't been the same since. He's a decent rotational player, but keeping him shouldn't be a top priority for Atlanta. Avery Williams, special teams. Special teams standout. Avery Williams missed all of 2023 with an ACL injury, but returned in 2024 to prove he still has value as a returner. With his ability to contribute in the third phase of the game, bringing him back makes a lot of sense. Depth pieces, players like Kentavious Street, Rondale Moore, and Antonio Hamilton Sr. had their moments, but none should be priorities. The Falcons can find similar production elsewhere. James Smith-Williams, defensive end 1. Interesting case is James Smith-Williams. Before his Week 10 injury, he led the team in tackles for loss and was a strong run defender. If the price is reasonable, keeping him could be a smart move. Atlanta has a lot of decisions to make, and with limited cap space, every signing needs to count. Stay tuned as we break down what's next for the Falcons. If James Smith-Williams stays healthy, he could be worth keeping around. Offensive line decisions. On the offensive line, Storm Norton has been a solid swing tackle, providing valuable depth. The Falcons might bring him back for stability. However, players like Elijah Wilkinson and Brandon Parker are likely on their way out. Kicker situation. One big decision the Falcons need to make is at kicker. Riley Patterson struggled when filling in for Young-Ho Koo, missing key kicks that cost Atlanta games. There's no reason to believe he'll be back next season. NFL Draft. Falcons first-round pick. Now let's shift focus to the NFL Draft. According to The Athletic's Nick Baumgardner, the Falcons are projected to select Texas A&M edge rusher Shamar Stewart with the 15th overall pick. Stewart is a high-risk, high-reward player. He has all the physical traits you want in a pass rusher, but his college production wasn't great, just 4.5 sacks in 3 seasons. That raises concerns, but scouts believe he could boost his draft stock with a strong NFL Combine performance. The Falcons desperately need pass rushing help, so taking a chance on Stewart could pay off. However, with limited draft picks, they can't afford to miss on a first-round selection. What do you think, Falcons fans? Should the Falcons bring back key players like Drew Dalman and Kaderil Hodge? Is it time to move on from veterans like Justin Simmons and Matthew Judon? Should the team draft Shamar Stewart at number 15 or go in a different direction? Drop your thoughts in the comments. A shocking mock draft pick. Speaking of the draft, one recent mock draft had the Falcons making a bizarre pick, one that left fans shaking their heads. Let's break it down. We're deep into the 2025 offseason and draft buzz is heating up. With the 15th overall pick, the Falcons have a lot of options. But if there's one thing everyone agrees on, analysts, insiders, and fans alike, it's that this team needs to fix the defense. Pass rush, weak. Secondary, a work in progress. Linebackers, inconsistent. You get the idea. Atlanta must get this pick right. Stay tuned as we break down this surprising mock draft pick and what it means for the Falcons. A shocking mock draft pick. Apparently, Ryan McChrystal from Sharp Football Analysis didn't get the memo. In his latest mock draft, he has the Falcons selecting wide receiver Luther Burden III from Missouri with the 15th overall pick. Yes, you heard that right. A wide receiver at number 15, even with plenty of defensive talent still available. Now, before we call this pick crazy, let's try to understand McChrystal's reasoning. Why draft another receiver? His argument is simple. Atlanta's offense has spent major draft capital on weapons, but it hasn't lived up to expectations. Adding another playmaker like Burden, who can stretch the field, could help Michael Penix Jr. develop faster. Burden's skill set is different from other receivers like Tetaroa McMillan, who plays a similar role to Drake London. There's also an argument for Ohio State's Emeka Egbuka, but Burden might be a better fit. The problem with this pick, the issue. The Falcons aren't one elite receiver away from contending. This team desperately needs defensive help. The numbers don't lie, and even McChrystal himself highlighted the struggles. Third and long struggles. The Falcons forced opponents into third and 7+ yards on just 19.5% of snaps, ranked 27th in the NFL. Lack of pass rush. They generated pressure in 2.5 seconds or less on only 18.5% of dropbacks, ranked 29th. Poor sack conversion. Only 18.7% of their pressures turned into sacks, ranked 28th. Weak pass defense. They allowed a 51.4% completion rate on throws, 10+ yards downfield, one of the worst in the league. Defense should be the priority. With numbers like these, defense must come first. The Falcons can't afford to pass on elite defensive talent just to add another receiver. But what do you think, Falcons fans? Is there any case for drafting Luther Burden III at number 15? Should Atlanta focus only on defense in the first round? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Defense must be the priority. The Falcons' defensive struggles were clear last season. Even A.J. Terrell, one of the team's best corners, allowed a 56.5% completion rate on passes of 10-plus yards, the fifth highest rate among outside corners. The takeaway? This defense needs serious help. And here's the frustrating part. Elite defensive talent will be available at pick number 15. A missed opportunity? In McChrystal's own mock draft, the very next pick after Atlanta's was Mykel Williams, a highly rated edge rusher from Georgia. That's a player who could have filled one of Atlanta's biggest needs. Instead, we're talking about adding another receiver to an offense that still hasn't figured out how to use its current weapons. Falcons fans deserve better. Falcons fans have been patient for years. No pass rush, inconsistent secondary, linebackers struggling to keep up. We've seen this team try and fail to fix these problems. Year after year, it's the same story. Now, with a golden opportunity to finally invest in a defense-first draft, choosing a wide receiver instead, it feels like a slap in the face. What if this really happened? Of course, this is just one mock draft, and draft season is unpredictable. But let's be real. If Terry Fontenot actually made this pick, how would you feel? Excited to see another offensive weapon in Atlanta? Frustrated that the team ignored its biggest need? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's get this debate going. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a Falcons update. Go Falcons!